So, yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Marcia. I'm startup coordinator at Berlin Partner, and I'm happy to be here at the webinar today. Thank you for having me. I just want to give you a quick introduction about me and what Berlin Partner is today, just a few minutes, because today is everything about financing. And we will have another session in a few weeks with all other topics and services what Berlin Partner offers for startups and how we can help you. Yeah. So what is Berlin Partner? Berlin Partner is the economy development service from Berlin. We have two big tasks. The one task is to help companies settle down in Berlin, and the other one is help technology and innovation companies to do good business and help with everything what we have on the public sector. First of all, we have 5 business packages, how we can help and support in general companies, in my case a startup. So we have the business location package, we help with office space, we have the business financing package, what Christian is telling you later on more in detail, what options you have. We have the talent package, we have an amazing talent team what helps you with visa services and recruiting and so on. The business innovation package, what means if you would like to do something in case of development and innovation, we help you. And last but not least, we help you going international with a big network and services around about, for example, Horizon 2020 and so on. Yeah, this is one point. Berlin Partner is also part of the Berlin Startup Unit. The Berlin Startup Unit is cooperation together with all the public politicians, institutions in Berlin, and helps supporting in all belongings what startups have. So if you have any questions in general, what means with Berlin Partner or how we can help you, please contact me directly, because I'm let's put it like first face to all of them, and then we have our experts, and I'm coordinating all belongings to them at our company. So let me know if I can help you in any ways. Thank you for your time. I'm happy to be here, and let me know if I can support you in any ways. Thank you.
So then we want to start with my part. Hello, my name is Christian Wolff. I'm a colleague from Marcia, and I'm from the funding financing service package. I will introduce you in a few minutes. Unfortunately, I only have one screen here, so when I do the presentation, I can't see your Q&A, your questions, and so I will answer it later on. When you have urgent questions to one topic, please use the voting function to see how many interests in one question and the answers is. So I start to share my screen. So first of all, this presentation will, after the event, over the SIBB delivered to you, so it's free of charge. You can use it, so you don't have to write anything. You see our disclaimer. We have terms and conditions of our work in our imprint, so you can find it furthermore. So I want to tell you something about how to raise public money and the possibilities for funding and financing. And before we go, I heard you had a session with the IBB and talked about detailed programs, but I want to go a step back and speak with you about important topics in funding financing in general. So what does Berlin Partner do in the financing package? First of all, you have a contact with your first phase. In our case, it's Marcia, and you as a company or you as a project leader give general information what you want to do in Berlin and what are your specific interests. If you have interests in funding financing, Marcia will make a contact with one person of our team. We are in total 6 persons for in the financing package for research and development financing information and for investment financing information. So she will make an appointment, and so we can share in-depth information. And our service is to give you an overview. What are your potential financial partners in your case? And in some cases, we also support in the application process and support with the communications between the IBB and other banks and the company. And if you give your application for a funding program to the IBB, we help you also with the subsidy management. So our support do not end when you give the application to the bank. So that's a short overview about our financing package. But what kind of possibilities are on the market for companies? The most companies think when they speak about grants, about non-refundable grants. So, but you have also a lot of other instruments you can use. You have tax subsidies, for example, for research. Actually, it's a new program. You have low interest loans also in the market. Actually, during the Corona crisis, the interest rates are really low. Grace periods, that means that you don't have to pay the loan back. You only pay the interest rate for a period of 1 or 2 years. It's also a common instrument for young companies or for established ones. You have the possibilities for collaterals and guarantees. But also you have the possibility to get public equity. Actually, we have the HGDF, the High-Tech Gründerfonds in Germany. It's a Germany-wide investment opportunity for public equity. In Berlin, we have the IBB Ventures, former the IBB Beteiligungsgesellschaft. They are since 1993 in Berlin active, and they offer public equity for innovative companies. We have also the possibility for silent partnerships or equity compensation. So you see, you have a lot of instruments you can use for as a public funding opportunity, not only non-refundable grants. So when you scan the market for possible grants, you will see we have a local dimension. We have on the one side the European Union, who offers over some funds grants for companies. We have the German-wide KfW, for example, who offer you some loans and also mezzanine capital. And we have the local funding agency, the Investitionsbank Berlin and the Bürgschaftsbank, the MBG, das IBB Business Team. Here's the old logo, IBB Beteiligungsgesellschaft. I have to change it. So they renamed last week. So when you start looking for funding or for grants, start with your local partner, with the local agencies. You have short ways and good information. In the second step, you go to the German-wide section, looking for example, grants for business angels are interesting in the nationwide level. And at last step, you deal with grants from the European Union, because it's really hard to get it, and they have only a small amount of companies can use this. What is also important, you ever heard the word de-minimis? It means some programs that offered in Berlin or in Germany are under de-minimis. It means that you can get only 200,000 euro in total for 3 years. It's a rule for subsidies in the European Union, and it means that it's only a certain threshold value in total, that it's not relevant for further funding programs. So it's a rule. For example, when you get office space in the SIBB and the Charlottenburg Innovation Center, these rentals are supported with de-minimis money. So it's not only a program when you rent an office, it's also maybe a part as a subsidy. So only to know there's a rule, 200,000 euro, but it's not for all programs, just as that you heard about it. The second important thing what we do when we talk about company or talk with companies about funding is to know something about the shareholders of this company. The question is, are you an autonomous company? What does it mean? When you have more than 25% of your shares holds another company, and in case we have cases with startups, it was a company builder or a company as an investor, family office also. It was a problem. I had it in one case. There was a big automotive company invested in a young deep tech startup, and they hold more than 25% of the shares. This was not an autonomous company anymore because they are also in the same sector. They do something with tech and automotive, and the investor was, and the other company was an automotive company. So it was not an autonomous company. And in this case, they get the status as a big company from the mother company who hold more than 25% of the shares. So it's important to define and to know it's the SME status. In all funding programs, European Union wide, the SME status is an important status, and when you have more than 25% shares for another company in your company, then it's a problem because you have to check are you a small or medium-sized company. So that's a really important thing when you think about grants to answer this question. There's a lot of information. We have a guideline from the European Union in all different languages you want to have, so that you can read about what does it mean, are you as an autonomous company. It's really important. So here are the sizes and why is it also important when you grow really fast. For example, last week I had a meeting with an appointment with the company in 2016. They only were 20 employees, so it was a small enterprise, and now they grow really fast, and now they are over 400 employees. So in this case, they are now a large company and not a SME status. You see it here, a small and medium-sized enterprise, and the most grants doesn't fit for this company because large enterprises are not so supported like small and medium-sized enterprises. So if you go, when you grow with your company, it's really important to know these barriers or these limits for the definition of a small and medium-sized enterprises. So you see, you have the number of employees and the turnover, and the balance sheet are the important informations for the definition of the European Union Commission. And it's a fixed definition. You can't change it. We have some rules and we can explain a little bit more, but in this case, deal with it. SME, it's a really important thing. So 2 things before you think about grants. What is my SME status, and am I an autonomous company? So the next thing nobody told you is the NACE code. Nobody knows what NACE code means, but it means statistical classification of your economic activities. What does it mean? We have a catalog in Germany. It's over 800 pages, and they are in this papers are the description of your economic activities from the view of the statistical classification. And with some NACE codes, you have a problem with funding financing, for example, storage, transport, financial services, and and management consultancy. These are all problematically economic activities. I call it the fintech problem in case of startup, because when you take a look on your company as a fintech, you offer financial services of the first view. But is it your main economic activity? Is your economic activity more programming activity, or you are a web portal and you are only make a matchmaking between financial services and the customers? It's really important that your description in your company registration is correct in this case. I support companies who had a really big problem because they are a startup for logistic, and they wrote in his company description, we are transport and storage company. So they don't get the grants. It was not the right NACE code. We can't heal this misunderstanding from the beginning when they register the company. So the NACE code reflects your actual activity of the enterprise project, and programming activities and web portals, you know, it's like Yahoo, they don't know platform companies. It's from 2008, these statistical classifications. These are really, really important, and you can make a lot of mistakes when you register your company and you make the wrong description of your economic activity. So these are really important for funding and financing. When you want to know more about it, please ask, use the question function in this Remo tool, and then I will explain it more in detail. So last but not least, what are the frequent errors what companies in the young stage do? Really, startups are really pushy. They want to start with their business model. They want to interact with the market. But first of all, ask and check, or let's check, because you don't have the overview about the grants, ask for the eligibility of your project. So it's nice to have, when you get on top to your financing round, a grant, you don't have to pay back. So, but the problem is, in all programs, when you start with your project, you can't get the money backwards. So first of all, you have to make the application, and then you can start your project. It's always a problem with young companies. They don't know it. And starting with the project, and afterwards you can't get the money for in any grants. When you apply for a program, you need an investment plan. And in the most cases, they underestimate the amounts you need for a market entry, or you need for investments. But in funding programs, you have to know it. And when you go over this sum, you can't get the grants for the number of you give more money. So it's a good planning makes a decision or make it better. In some programs, you can get grants for wages, and in total, sometimes you don't know the market, you don't know how, sometimes you don't know how many money you have to pay for your personnel, for your staff, and so you calculate your wages too low. So it's also an offer from Berlin Partner that we can give you an overview what are the actually wages for an front-end developer. So we have a good overview over the market. So speak with Marcia about it. We have also a talent team who give you more information. If you're, if you apply for a grant program, the interaction, the communication between the funding agency and the company is, in the most cases, not so good. When you make changes and you are a startup, you make a lot of changes in the first time, you make a pivot. So speak with the funding agency. They are not your enemy, they are your friend, because they want to give you the money. It's really important that you speak early about the changes when you make changes in your company, and maybe it's not the same like you planned. It's normal case. Another frequent error is the little knowledge about the commitment you make in the framework of the grant. So when you get a grant, you have to do some. You have to do something. You have to hold the invested goods in Berlin, or you have to hold the employees in Berlin, not the persons, but the head count. And so you read your commitments you made carefully. Let's speak about before you apply, maybe for the program. What are the commitments I have to make for the grant? Because in case of an exit deal, the company who buys your company also buys the commitments. And when the commitments are too hard and they want to set up the company not here in Berlin, they want to go to Munich, they have to pay for not fulfillment of the commitment, and maybe it lower your price in the case of an exit. So think about in a legal due diligence, the commitments are really important for an exit deal. So the most startups are really dynamic and personal. So I have always, in a few cases, the problem that they made an application, they get the money from the IBB or so on, but after 3 years, when they have to report about the activities, the person who makes the application and knows the program very well is not more any in the company. So it's the knowledge transfer when the personal change is really important in case of funding programs. So have a continuity with the personal or the knowledge. That's important. So, and if you apply for funding programs, a pitch deck is not enough, and a superficial business plan is it's also not a good case. So it's a little bit old school. Sometimes you have to write a normal business plan, a financial plan, and yeah, for example, use a business plan competition in Berlin. They have a good workbook. It's a good guideline for how to write a business plan. So it's your decision. If you want to use grants, you have to make commitments, and you have to decide as an entrepreneur, are these commitments good for my company or is it not? It's a choice you have to make in the beginning, and our service is to support you, to give you all the information that you can make a good decision.